To start off with what I thought was memorable about the play. Um, a couple instances. One of the main memorable moments to me was when Mrs. Van Buren's husband actually spat on her because she wasn't pregnant during that time. I was very shocked by that. I mean, it's just in that case, like she can't do anything about the fact that she's unable to bear children, and I think it contributes to part of the themes of the play of social injustice and the way that women were treated in that time. And also, I was also surprised by the fact that Esther didn't end up being with Mr. Marks at the end of the play. The play kind of just ends with things not exactly working out for them, and that was a pretty big surprise to me. But in addition to that, the themes of the plays, I believe that one of the main themes, as I said earlier, was social injustice. One, as seen in the interactions between Mrs. Van Buren and her husband, also with Esther being of African American descent, and her ancestors kind of were undereducated, leading to her being illiterate and the challenges she had to face with that. And then also, I saw an example of that with Mr. Marks and how he was subject to certain behavior because of his religion, and he wasn't allowed to love Esther back because he was set to be married to some woman he had never even met before. Another theme I thought was romance, kind of hopeless romance in the play, and the main example of that was Esther ripping up her own quilts and giving her life savings to George, a man she barely even knew, and ended up not even being that connected with. It just kind of shows the power that he had over her, and her kind of hopeless romance for that relationship to work out. And then also that kind of transitions into the third theme of true love versus fake love. And I think Esther represented that with her love with Mr. Marks, which ended up being more of a genuine love, whereas with George, it was kind of a more false, fake love that was kind of spurred based on her desperation. I definitely think in conjunction to the three R's of the play, I think that the play sought to resist the stereotypes as it displayed Esther as being an intelligent and confident woman, even though she was a black minority and a woman as well. And I think that the play definitely tried to resist the fact that at the time period, women were viewed as weak, and black, especially black women, weren't viewed as very useful. As for stereotypes now, I definitely think that stereotypes still exist and are something that humans unfortunately naturally do, sometimes in cases where they're unwarranted, as sort of a defense mechanism, and then left unchecked, it can become pretty serious. And I think these are perpetuated by jokes that are made on social media that are funny at the time based on people's race and skin color, but actually end up perpetuating that stereotype. And then some questions that I have are: what is the significance of the clothing that Esther sews, and do you think George and Esther could have ever worked out?